This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carl. I'm with Central Business Systems. I'm a senior software engineer and systems administrator here. I've been asked to demo the Google connector on a Sharp 51 series. You'll see on your screen the console of a 5051 that has the Google connector installed. In order to have multiple users save their own individual Google credentials on the machine, user access control needs to be enabled on the machine. So each user will have a unique PIN number between 5 and 8 digits long to log into the machine itself. Then once they log into the Google connector, they can enter their Google credentials and save those with their login. And it will also prompt for their authenticator PIN number the first time and then cache that for future logins. So we have a couple of logins set up on this machine, and we'll go through the several examples. So one of the logins I set up has a PIN number that's 5 digits long. And then we can navigate to the Google Drive connector. These tiles on the home screen can be rearranged, so if they won't always have to scroll through the options or click on the 5th page of the navigation here. This button can be put on the first home screen. Once we select our Google Drive connector, I'd already configured this drive with the authentication, and it's saved that login and takes me directly to where I can scan a document into that user's Google Drive, or I can print a document from their Google Drive. So I'm going to log out as this user, and I'll show you the setup of a new user on the machine. So first log in with this user's new Google account, and we'll run through the authentication steps, and you'll see that it's fairly quick. All right, I configured this account for Jordan, and Jordan would log on and go to his Google Drive connector shortcut, where it takes you to the familiar Google login screen. When you tap on the username box, it'll bring up the on-screen keyboard where you can enter that person's Google account. If they're not using a @gmail.com domain name, then that would have to be appended to the end of the username. We hit OK and next. We'll prompt us for our password. I'll have to pardon the lag here, because this machine that I'm remoting into is in another office from where I'm physically located. So it's happened to go across our VPN to that machine. But this is an actual machine that I'm navigating on, not an emulator. So this is actually how the machine will behave, but without the lag, of course. All right, once my password is entered, I will hit sign in, where you're presented with your hopefully familiar Google Authenticator prompt, where you would then access the Android or Apple device that has Authenticator installed and associated with that account, and you would enter your 6-digit PIN number. The user will then be prompted at first sign on whether they want to allow the Sharp Cloud Connector to access their Google account. Of course, they have to hit allow, or you won't be able to proceed. And once that authentication has taken place, you'll see that you have access to your two options. If I proceed to scan a document for this user, you do have the ability to drill down into pre-established folders in that Google Drive. So I believe in this Google Drive, I set up a couple of folders. I did. And I can select that folder and then hit OK, and it'll scan directly into that subfolder as opposed to the root of the Google Drive. It does not allow you to create folders on the fly, unfortunately. But if you have a scans folder created in your Google Drive, you could use that as your scan destination. And you'd place your piece on the glass or in the ADF and hit start. If it's on the glass, it'll ask you to confirm that you don't have any additional pages. And it's done. The user's account can be set to auto log off after a certain period of time. By default, it's 60 seconds of inactivity. Or you can tap on this log out icon. Because I'm terminaled into it, I'm getting this message that my connection was severed, but obviously you won't see that when you're in front of the machine. And the next user can log on. We'll log back into his account, and I'll show you that his credentials are cached. And it passes me directly to the screen where I can select which function I want. If the user's Google password changes, simply what it'll do is prompt you for the username and password and then the authenticator PIN again. And once they're updated, it will cache them and you can continue as you had been. All right, so that's it for the recording. I'll stop the recording here and I can field any questions you have.